Well, that is the market coming to you. So you must get prepared.
That's the non-customer. If we define customer as Hong Kong people giving birth in Hong Kong hospital, we have to look at the non-customers.
Yeah, if you know, obstetrics and gynecology is a problem, it's a very distorted picture today. Your local women are not your only clients, right? It's not, right? So even in a business, the real problem with hospital authority is you know, for years they were focused only on the Hong Kong side, the Hong Kong market, but the market comes to you. And what do you do? How do you respond? And you feel that you are unable to respond because of the rigidities and the statutory restrictions of your organization. But one attitude is say, this is my job. This is a job defined by the statute. This is what I am going to do. I am not wrong if I fail to notice because, you know, 阿爸叫我讀書啫，冇叫我學第啲嘢嘛。You know, something like that. You know, this is my only job. But that is not anticipating the future. The future is, I think Drucker is in one sense, the future is what you make it to be. Right. Even though if it is not your future, you can make the future for you, for yourself.
Good.
Yeah, I echo Professor Wong's point that it is very important that we try to gain a very deep understanding of our customers. Because of the tsunami, the consumer consumption pattern changed or may have changed. The customers' buying habits may have changed. For example, if you are a snack product, your customers may be buying the biscuits for years, but now because of the tsunami, they might have substitute products. They go for, you know, lower price, for example, chips. If you are a gambler, for example, you may be spending $10,000 per month on horse racing bets. But because of the tsunami, you may be spending $5,000, and you may be spending, within that $5,000, 1/3 of that to place a higher return bet so that you can gain your money back. So,
David, your clients are very rich.
And think about the private banking clients. There has been a trust deficit between the private banks as well as the private banking clients. Now, once the trust deficit's been there, it might be quite difficult for you to law them back. So again, I echo what Professor Wong said, you know, is go back to analyze the problem. If you want to have a sustainable position for your business, you have to go back to the basic, as Thomas Chen has said, understand your customer, what they have changed, and try your best to keep them.
And look beyond that. Actually, that's what Professor Wong says.
Right.
Peter, since you are in this energy saving thing, and we don't want to talk about the politics, but
really,
but I think energy is a big issue these days.
The green label is definitely, you know, a predictable future. I mean, everybody talks about green today. And of course, the green, the CFLs, you know, the energy saving initiative was a talk of the town in the past week, let's say. You know, that's predictable. I mean, everybody would share this global warming, you know, earth-friendly angle. Now, you know, we talk about government policies, way of doing business, understand your customer. I think, first of all, understand your market, understand your customer. You gotta get close to them. I mean, again, we're not a huge global company. We don't have a lot of resources, but, you know, we take the initiative to get really close to the market because I'll give you an example, lighting. Lighting is a very local practice. You know, the hat that you use here in Hong Kong is very different than Japan as well as other parts of the world. So you really need to get close to the market itself and hear and listen to what sort of practices they have. I think that's one. Doing business is very different today. I'll give you an example also. Internet helps a whole lot. Today, if you go to trade shows, I'm sure all of you are trade show visitor, goer, fans. But today, when you go to trade shows, you don't have a lot of excitement anymore because a lot of newly released technologies and products are on internet. People, have the first-hand, no matter how they got the first-hand resource releasing that particular piece of energy or product to you. You don't have that excitement anymore. The trade show business is for a point of presence, more so than, telling you what sort of new technology we have. The next, of course, I really have to touch on is government policies. If you look at energy saving, lighting, green lighting, various government actually do help, or in different stages. If you look at carbon credits also as a whole, Europe per se is by far more advanced than where we are today. Japan, because of the Kyoto Protocol, a lot of 24 hours convenience stores, even the price is higher, they're willing to actually invest because not only they can do a calculation on the return on investment, but as well as the support by the government policies. So with all those, I think, areas being supported, we can actually do something a little bit more easier, let's say.
Good. How about YK?
Thank you, Peter. I think everyone basically is focusing towards the same areas, that you got to look beyond your own industry to understand how the future changes. And there's a word which is PEST or PEST, which I always go back to when I analyze my environment, which is, I'm not sure it was Drucker, one of Drucker's most well-known students who coined this word, which is, it stands for political, economic, social, and technological change. So these four things, the politics always influence how things go in any community, the economic situation and how firms and individuals behave, the social elements, whether people are more activists, they're more concerned about the environment or about poverty, and technological breakthroughs which continue to change the world we live in. So I think it's always worthwhile looking at those four factors in thinking about the future. When I look at the future, I always spend a bit of time daydreaming, and it's important that in our very busy lives and 24/7 existences, that we try to spend a little bit of time every now and then and to think about what the future might hold and to daydream a little bit. And I always like going to the movies because the movie often tells you about the future. Think about this. In the movie Artificial Intelligence, AI, many of you might have watched it. It's only about a 10-year-old movie. It shows one of the scenes that the robot and the boy went in front of a TV screen, and then they had some money to type in 10 questions that they could use to find out about the robot boy's history. This screen is already here today. It's called Google. Basically, all you need to do, or Wikipedia, you just type in any question you like, and basically, I think 9 times out of 10, for at least for most of us in this room, the answer will come out. Another movie, Star Trek. In the old days, you just flip open this thing and they say, beam me aboard, Scotty. Maybe we can't get a beaming aboard yet, but now they can all communicate. In the 1960s, when Star Trek was created, people didn't even have enough landline telephones. Now everyone, even in Africa, has a mobile phone. The film I, Robot, has got robots maybe taking over the earth. Maybe that hasn't happened yet. We look at Japan, where Sony Corporation and Toyota Corporation are making very real-looking robots. If you go to the movies, you can predict a certain element of the future in many of these movies. Just now you started to talk about demographics. Well, that is one future we can predict. And it's not only just the population bulge. There are issues here that many of us need to understand. In every industry, the population of this world is aging. There is no doubt about that. And they live longer because technological advances in medicine have enabled people to postpone the inevitable. And so therefore, there will be a lot more old people. What is that implication there for business, for opportunities for us to take advantage of, for issues like taxes and issues of demographic and population policy? Who will look after these old people? I mean, maybe it's the robots. Who will provide technology? How can they read when they get old and their eyesight's gone? Maybe your screens would be more relevant and need bigger font sizes. I keep telling my people to always print things with bigger font sizes because more and more of my customers are getting older. And they all need, or at least I'm getting older too, so I need bigger font sizes. People always forget this. So if you look at what the future lies and how these things affect the world and your business, I think there are many opportunities that we can capture.
Right, good.